So it's the 14th of March today, and a couple days back now where I'm living, so back to the usual gym. A little bit sort of a different start for me. Today was just hitting the your sort of incline sit up bench, and just doing 50 sit ups as I could sort of. Couldn't quite really do them in a row, but sort of did 20, then did another 10, stopped for a sec, did another 10, stopped for a sec, did another 10 kind of thing. And this was just because someone was using the squat rack, so I thought I'd just find something else that I could be a little productive in and get a little bit warm. And I thought, look, why don't I do something at least core-centric or ab-centric, so at least I can engage my core early so that when I'm squatting and when I'm deadlifting, I can remind myself to engage my core during those lifts, seeing as it has been quite a while since I've done those lifts. So while I was waiting, I thought, why not just do sort of 50 sit-ups on the sit-up bench and just see how I go. And look, to be honest, felt pretty good. Like I was able to just notice my core a little bit more, focus more down on just keeping it tight during the squats and the deadlifts. And to my surprise, I thought the deadlifts would be alright, but I thought the squats would be weak. It was the other way around. The squats felt fantastic. No problems there. Because I've been stretching regularly, I've been doing those bodyweight squats, a few kettlebells squats earlier before I left. And then obviously that 40k round mountain biking trip I did when I was in Tassie all helped. So look, my mobility was fine. I was able to squat. Not crazy, but I got up to that 80 kilos where I was squatting before. So I squatted 80 kilos, 3 reps for 3 sets or 4 sets or something like that, just to warm into it. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to get silly, but I was kind of shocked how good the squats felt and how good my stability and my range of motion felt. So the squats felt good. On the other hand, the deadlifts did not feel good at all. Most likely because I have not been exercising anything significant in that movement. I haven't done a lot of back stuff or upper back stuff. Legs are good off the ground because I do the trap bar deadlifts. I get a good drive off the ground, but you'll see in a sec that my sort of midway through the pull where your lower back sort of kicks in a little bit more. I was quite weak on it. Obviously doing it with shrug variations as well, getting the traps going. So I only got up to 110 kilos. I think normally I'm doing about 130 for 5 reps kind of thing. But I got up to 110 kilos and I just left it there. I didn't want to do any damage. I didn't want to hurt myself, and now I've got a big knot in my back actually, funnily enough, from doing those deadlifts. I think I was just a little bit weak and I probably could have gone a little bit easier with the warming up and things like that. But like I do, I stretched for like 20 minutes before I got to the gym anyway. I rode my bike to the gym, so I got a good warm up in. I warm up with a bar. You can see me bending over backwards there, stretching out all the tendons and ligaments through the hips, knees, ankles, back, all that stuff. Sort of started off with 8 reps. At 70 kilos with a shrug just as a warm-up, and then I went up pretty much to 110 after that. But look, overall it was a solid session to just get back into weightlifting and doing those bigger compound movements. I'm back at work tomorrow, so it'll probably be a bit of running or something like that. Maybe a kettlebell workout. I probably won't be hitting the gym tomorrow, but we shall see. But yeah, look, squats were happy, deadlifts were happy. Sort of trying to do my 5x5s with the deadlifts, and then with the squats, doing 5 reps with the 60 kilos, and I was doing 3 reps with the 80 kilos, and I did a drop set at the end where I did 3 reps at 80 kilos. I just took the weight off, went back to the bar, and did 5 reps at 60 kilos, just as a little drop set to get a bit more fatigue in there. But yeah, look, form with the deadlift was okay. I think it was just more the muscular endurance, my first set. Looking back on it on camera now, my first set actually looked pretty good. I looked strong through my form. I looked strong through my shrugs. But I think as the session went on and as I got into those later sets, I think I started to fatigue quite a lot. Didn't have huge breaks during this one as well. I was working up about a minute and a half to 2 minute breaks in between squatting and deadlifting. Then you can almost see as soon as I do a deadlift, I'll go back and I'll do some squats, or as soon as I finish the squats, I'll go back and I'll do the deadlift. So I was just working off a shorter recovery period here. Probably will feel it a little bit tomorrow, but had a good stretch to Savo and joints feel fine, limbs feel fine. It's just a bit of tightness in the upper back that should resolve soon enough. Anyway, I did when I went to the gym for the brief times I did, or when I had a hotel gym, I did put a lot of emphasis on chest, but then I also put a lot of emphasis on pulling and doing some back work as well. So it was really just chest and back, which were the main things I did when I was away. That's probably it for the training side. I think the other thing that was on my mind today was actually a little bit funny. I don't know how it got in there, but I must have heard someone talking about it or something. But toxic masculinity. I've heard a lot about toxic masculinity, and might have been a podcast or something, or someone mentioning something from Jordan Peterson or whatever. And to be honest, I have no idea what it means when someone says, toxic masculinity is a bad trait. I didn't know any examples of it. I was just thinking maybe guys just being, dickheads or something like that, or sexist, or, just being a pig. But I didn't actually know what it was or what any examples of it were. So, just wanting to find out everything, I went to Dr. Google, and I had a look. And first thing that popped up when I searched it, and it just comes up in the Google search from a website, and this was on Healthline. So this is a link that came up from Healthline. Traits of toxic masculinity include themes of mental and physical toughness, aggression, stoicism, self-sufficiency, emotional insensitivity, and then sexism. Apart from the sexism, I can't find the problem with a lot of that being toxic. I don't know about a lot of people, but mental and physical toughness, I rate that in a lot of people. I think a lot of successful people have it, a lot of resilient people have it. A lot of people that are strong and individual, within themselves, within their own mindsets, within their own lives, are mentally and physically tough. So I thought that was a bit stupid, to be honest, to put that in there. Aggression, I can see how that works. You obviously see a lot of overly aggressive, people in general. But to be honest, I think to be successful, and if you are someone that wants to be the best and wants to succeed in something, you need a certain level of aggression. You're not going to take things lying down, and you're going to attack challenges that come towards you. You're not going to sit there and roll over and let someone beat the crap out of you, kind of thing, or let a challenge beat the crap out of you. You're going to want to be aggressive and proactive. So necessarily, I don't see that as a bad thing. Only in the physical sense of being physically aggressive towards someone for no reason, assaulting people, verbally assaulting people, things like that. That's not cool. Stoicism. Look, again, not a bad thing. As I mentioned, I work in health. I see a lot of people that when they are in pain, they've got a smashed leg. Or I had one dude who had an axe go through his leg. Yeah, mate, what's your pain out of 10? 10 being the worst thing you ever felt, 1 being nothing. He goes, oh yeah, about 3.5. That's being stoicism. Just underplaying it, but I also see it as people that don't want other people to worry about them. And they're alright. And I see a lot of sensible people that are stoic, but will ask for help when they need help. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't want to display any emotion or ask for anything. You definitely get a sense that everyone should be comfortable with expressing themselves and their emotions and how they feel and communicating that, which is perfectly fine. I don't have issues with that. It's probably quite healthy in relationships, and the relationships you build with your friends, your family, your partner, etc. But in another sense, I think it just it can positively link back to maybe that mental toughness and that physical toughness um, that is displayed by successful people. They're not going to bitch, moan, and cry about all their problems. They're going to go out and they're going to be proactive, or they're going to keep them to themselves because they know no one else wants to hear it. They're going to be respectful, they're going to keep to themselves, and they're not going to let their problems weigh other people down. So I can take that as a positive. I know it's, bottling things up and keeping them inside is not a good thing as well, but again, like as a toxic, calling it a toxic trait, I disagree with that. Obviously, the sexism bit, don't agree with sexism at all. It's very stupid, so tick that off as a terrible trait. Self-sufficiency and emotional insensitivity. Like, what the hell are they talking about? Why is being self-sufficient a toxic trait? Would you have to be codependent on someone, or you have to be dependent on the government, or friends in your family, or a carer, or like? I think everyone as an adult wants to be self-sufficient. I don't think that's a bad. Like, it would be terrible if you weren't self-sufficient. Like, geez, like children aren't self-sufficient. But like, to be honest, I knew a lot of kids when I was growing up who were 12, 13, 14 who were very self-sufficient because they came from terrible backgrounds, man. So I only see that as a positive, and I can't see anything negative about being self-sufficient. And then emotional insensitivity. Look, it's a bit of a hit and miss. Like, I don't think that's just a trait of being a man. I think that's just a trait of being a person, and possibly misreading situations as well. You can be blissfully ignorant to things. You can be willfully ignorant to things. Or you could just be clueless. So there's different ways to take it, and it depends on the situation, depends on the people. But I don't think emotional insensitivity comes from just being a man and being masculine. I think that's terrible. So look, I don't know why it came up, but it really frustrated me when I googled it, and then I sort of had a look at other things, along those lines as well. And a popular fitness influencer guy from sort of the early mid-2000s to late 2000s called Aziz popped up, and I actually remember him because I'm Aussie and he was an Aussie dude, and I remember him from when I was a kid watching the news with mum and dad or something like that, and he, just vaguely in my memory, I remember he popped up on there once or twice, or on a current affair or doing something like that. He was a dude who was initially skinny, got bullied a lot, decided, and he was going to have enough. He's had enough of it. He went to the gym, took some roids, took some PEDs and got jacked, and he was all about aesthetics and looking good, and enjoying life and partying and stuff like that, which I totally don't judge. But it was sort of what I noticed when I digged into it was sort of a persona that he put on. His face to get through life and navigate his way through the world. And this bloke died young. He was in his early 20s when he died of heart problems. I think one could have been a congenital heart problem, and two could have been misuse of roids and PEDs and things like that. But there was one thing that stuck with me. A couple of things that stuck with me that he said. And some of these things, I went on a little YouTube dive of him. And the first one was, something like, screw all the haters, screw what everyone else says, do what you want to do. You want to look good, you want to be fit, you want to be strong, go to the gym. If you're going to do roids, do safe, look after yourself, and just do what you want, be happy, don't give a shit about anyone hating on you. So that's one thing I took from it. And the second thing was one of these lines he said, and he was like, we're all going to fucking make it. It's sort of like, hop on my back, come with me, follow me, and we're all going to get there. We'll all drag each other out of the bad times, and just come with me, hop on it, and we'll all do this together. And I think that's why he became so popular in the end. And, when I was looking at that and thinking about toxic masculinity, I thought, that could be an example. That persona could be an example of what a lot of people would consider toxic masculinity. But when you dig into the example and you dig into the person behind a persona and things like that, and the positive influences that that man or that that Aziz character can have on people, like it was fantastic. And I for one don't think he was encouraging people to abuse steroids and abuse PEDs and go out partying and die young kind of thing. Like, look, if he was alive, he would not be encouraging that at all. But he was encouraging you to live the life you want to live, and to also boost others up around you, and take your friends with you, take your family with you, take other people on board with your success and lift everyone else up around you. You can be in it for yourself, but I think it's better when you are positively influencing other people around you. That's sort of what I got about watching him and seeing him come up as an example of toxic masculinity. Yeah, just I thought it was an interesting point, and just seeing some of the traits that are listed are a little bit rubbish, to be honest, and I don't think there's anything bad about wanting to be more of a strong man, mentally tough, physically tough, resilient, self-sufficient, a provider, things like that. I don't see anything wrong with that, and I see those as enviable qualities that I would love to have one day. But all in all, you just you want to be a good person. You don't want to be a dickhead. You don't want to abuse people. You don't want to be a burden on people, and you want to have a happy life, and you want to find things that make you happy. And I think that's it. I think that's all we can do. I'm a big proponent of just let other people live their lives, and just don't give your 2 cents worth unless they ask you. If someone asks you for your opinion, your honest opinion, give it to them. But just some people just need to butt their head out of other people's business and focus on working on themselves rather than spreading a lot of hate and a lot of rubbish on other people, which I think was unfairly thrown on a lot of men and a lot of successful people out there through this toxic masculinity, hate craze kind of thing. But yeah, that was my sort of thoughts on it. As as a man, as a bloke, as a young man as well, who was himself trying to get some of those qualities. So I'll leave it there. It's a bit of a long spiel for the log, but that was my thoughts today while I was training. So cheers, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.